Apparently, when they saw the shooting, the initial video that came out on social media of the Trantifa terrorist, that is it a trans? Like that's the instant reaction now. It's kind of like how for so many years we thought we would see terror. Is it a Muslim? Now we're starting to think, is it a trans person? And we've indulged all of this. It's completely our fault, self-inflicted wound. We've run so hard away from the science and towards insanity. And I feel proud that we at Breitbart, we didn't indulge any of this. We never did the pronoun stuff. We never indulged all the anti-science hysteria. But it just, as a society, it's just been so bad. It does feel like this is the issue that's made a lot of people wake up to how awful the left is and how they'll never stop. They will never be done. They will always try to take more. They will always try to create more chaos. But really, truly troubling that this is it's an epidemic in our society. All right. So before the break, I brought up why I think what Randy Fine said, which is suggesting that basically there is a choice now between, I guess, Muslims and dogs as pets is such a compelling thing. And I don't agree with all Randy Fine's tactics. He does a lot of provocateurism, which I have a soft spot for at Breitbart News, but it's not something I engage in on a personal level. But I'll tell you what's interesting here is if you think about what is one of the issues in this country where seems to be unanimous agreement, left and right. One of the few things that's left is that we all seem to like dogs. Pets in particular, but dogs. Like we like dogs as a society. We are a pro-dog people. I say this as someone who did not like dogs growing up, was a cat person, and then got dogs and immediately understood, oh yeah, I get what this is all about, why everyone loves dogs. It teaches us to nurture. It teaches us to be selfless, teaches us to care for innocent creatures. It teaches us love. It teaches our children love. A lot of us exercise and have a healthier lifestyle because of our dogs, companionship. All of these things are so wonderful and it's universally agreed upon. And to have a person who is an official title in New York to suggest that dogs do not have a place as indoor pets. Who suggests that? Are there any pets that are not indoor pets? How many outdoor pets are there? Like if you work on a farm or something, maybe your horse, if you're in the top 0.1% and you have some sort of a equestrian hobby. See, all the pets are indoor pets. So this is so far away from Western values and American values, then I think suggesting that if we're going to choose between Muslim people who are their value system as laid out by the Quran has deep incompatibilities with the West, not to say, just to make an obvious point, that there aren't many wonderful Muslims who have adapted and been absorbed in the United States in a productive way. I'm not saying that those people don't exist. I'm saying overall, if you go by their doctrine, by the Quran, and you go by their value system, a lot of it is deeply incompatible with what we consider Western values, particularly of things like liberty, that they are not aligned with those things. And the fact that Randy Vine can lay out that, look, if that's the choice, if you're posing it that way, because remember, the Nurdeen Kizwani's tweet starts, finally, New York City is coming to Islam. We've been hearing these reports of calls to prayer in New York City. And the Muslim call to prayer 5 a.m., waking people up. So if we want New York City to get absorbed by Islam, or if the choice is between that and being able to have dogs inside, I do think most Americans would choose dogs inside. It's just true. So, and he's got the entire media hopping mad, entire Democrat Party, people calling for his resignation. But it's one of those ones where if you really think about it and you had to choose, if it was black and white, and it's not, there's a gray area here. But if it really was a black and white choice between dogs inside or New York goes Muslim, then we would choose dogs inside. So very interesting point. All right, next big one. Stephen Colbert has provoked the whole world by doing an interview with a guy named James Tallarico, who I featured on the show. He's running for Senate against Jasmine Crockett in the Democrat primary in Texas. Best known for being the guy who said that he uses his Christian faith to justify abortions, which is crazy and blasphemous, I will say. And he's running against Jasmine Crockett. He's just very dislikable as a person, just a deeply unlikable persona publicly. Colbert lets him on, as Colbert often does, because Colbert's show is basically a Democrat. That has basically a Democrat platform. And what he's done on the show is he's provoked the FCC to say you can't do that because it's a clear violation of FCC's equal time policy. These are free public airwaves. And we've basically turned it over to Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and The View and others to make it just a left-wing Democrat play place for them to play politics. Now, there are exceptions for legitimate news interviews, but we know that this is just a partisan propaganda show. So the FCC has said to CBS, you can't air this stuff. So this is something where his show loses $40 million per year. And Colbert is, of course, trying to take advantage. He's blamed Trump. It's nothing to do with Trump. This has to do with the laws, that if you're going to benefit from free public airwaves, to have a show, we lose $40 million a year, then you can't use it just to propagandize on behalf of the Democrat Party.